Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do. I do set an alarm in the morning, even even if the first thing in the day is at like 2 p.m. And so I really don't need to be up before 1 p.m. And I don't remember the last time I slept in till 1 p.m. I will still set an alarm for 1 p.m. just in case that happens to be the day that I end up sleeping in. So yeah, I do set an alarm.
And force others to set alarms.
Yeah, because I mean, how do you know you won't sleep in? Like, it doesn't feel like a foolproof situation where we need to be up at a certain time when you don't set an alarm. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you hit the snooze button?
Not really, not in the last several years, I think. I think before that I might do that every so often. I know as a kid, my school in India was what we used to call morning school. I don't know if that's a phrase in the US. So it was earlier in the morning, and when my mom was waking me up, I'd often be like, oh, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, things of that sort. But in the last, yeah, I don't think recently I've been hitting the snooze button too much.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Only if I have like a 9 o'clock, because I can roll out. Now, there's no way I could sleep past where I would miss at 10 o'clock, but I guess in rare cases I could. So I would say if I have a 9 o'clock or even earlier. So when we were doing our faculty recruiting meetings, one of our faculty, I assume you know him, Philip Kralenbuhl. I'm never quite sure. I should ask him how the hell to pronounce his name. He's in Taiwan. He actually doesn't want anyone people to know this. So yeah, this will go out now. He's going to be pissed at me because this will go out to the public. Because his wife is Taiwanese. So they have, during COVID, they decamped to Taiwan. And so of course that kind of weird. So we're having those meetings at 8 in the morning so that Philip could do it at God knows what time in the evening that is in Taiwan. So I definitely set an alarm for those meetings.
And do you hit the snooze button often?
No. Again, I'm not much of an alarm person. I used to rely on my dog. My dog now is not very good, but my previous dog, I never set an alarm because she would wake me up every morning.
Mm-hmm. And are you?
There's no snooze dog on the alarm.
Yeah.
There's no snooze button.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do. I mean, I have it's set to the weekly schedule, and there's different times each day that it's set for. I don't always need it to wake up, but it's always set, except for the weekends. It's not set.
But fascinating. It's set at different times every day, so you don't have a routine time or a regular body clock time that you get up at.
No, my meeting schedule dictates my wake up time, basically.
Interesting. And do you hit snooze in the morning?
It varies. Sometimes I sleep better than others. Some nights I sleep better than others. And if I don't sleep well or I go to bed late, then I'll hit the snooze. And other times I'll just wake up without the alarm even going off.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yeah, definitely. I have about 3 alarms set. And then I can only wake up after my 4th alarm that I set after the 3rd alarm goes off.
So that answers my next question, which is, do you snooze your alarm? So it does sound like there's planned snoozing going on.
Oh, yes, plenty of snoozing. I mean, even for the post-dinner nap, I set the alarm for often like 45 minutes or an hour. But then I always wake up after about an hour and a half because I just have to snooze it once.
Interesting. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
No, I don't. For some reason, I wake up around like 6, 7 in the morning, and automatically I don't need any alarm. And sometimes I have to wake up early, very early in the morning, like to catch a flight or to do travel or something. So that for those, yeah, sure, I set up alarm, but and like on a normal day, no, it's I wake up automatically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is it approximately around the same time usually?
Yeah, approximately around the same time. I don't know if it's because of a sleeping problem, or is it? So yeah, I wish I could sleep more, but and set an alarm, but unfortunately that doesn't happen.
So even on the weekends, you wake up
even on the weekends, yeah, that's same same schedule.
Interesting. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do. I have to. I am not a morning person. So if it's really important I get up, I may have to set multiple alarms.
And so it sounds like you do snooze the alarms because you're setting backups.
I definitely snooze the alarm. There's no hope of not snoozing the alarm. I have to allot an extra 15 to 30 minutes just knowing myself that I will snooze it.
Interesting. How many backup alarms do you have?
I guess it depends how tired I am or how early I have to get up. But usually it would just be 2 alarms, just, set 5 minutes apart on my phone so that I make sure that if I snooze it, I hear another one again.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
No. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she, never fails to wake at, she wakes at 6:30, and she, comes and collects us at 7 o'clock or 7:30 or whatever she decides. So I haven't set an alarm for a long, long time.
I like the verb description there, that she comes and collects the rest of us. Yeah.
Well, there's porridge to make or whatever, there's stuff to be done. So that you need adults for.
Then does the common household phenomena happen in reverse, where she'll come and try to wake you up and you'll ask for 10 more minutes and then 10 more minutes?
It literally does. I only get away with 3 more minutes. 3 is considered acceptable.
I see.
But maybe I might stretch it to 5 sometimes. But yeah, I wouldn't risk stretching it to 7.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would sleep in.
Okay. And do you end up snoozing a lot?
I used to a lot when I had to wake up early when I was commuting. So I would set up my alarm 20 minutes before I actually had to wake up. But now I think that I get more sleep, so I don't really need to. I feel that when you snooze, it's like your body's telling you that you need more sleep. So I feel that I don't have that need anymore.
Okay, good.
Do you snooze? Do you put an alarm?
Yeah, I do put an alarm. I generally tend not to snooze. But let's remember, I've already done this interview.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. I feel that we're chatting, So.
Yeah, no, that is. I think I'm succeeding if you feel we're chatting and that you can ask me questions back. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yes, every morning. Do you want to know when? I'm embarrassed by it. Okay.
Sure, if you.
8:15.
Okay, that's pretty precise. And do you end up snoozing it?
Yes. So this is actually a funny story. I have an 8:15 alarm and my husband has an 8:30 alarm. And I always have an 8:15 alarm that I snooze twice. And then his alarm rings. And then I wake up when his alarm rings, basically. So yeah, I should probably stop my alarm and think about it.
Sure. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I used to. No, I don't. Well, I don't typically. Sometimes I do, but quite frankly, Joelle gets a little upset when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m, as you can imagine. So I try not to use one that often. So yeah. So I usually end up waking up on my own.
And over time, you've trained your body that you're able to just get up at 4 without any alarm.
Yeah. Actually, for some reason, I don't know if this is common or not, but ever since COVID has set in, I'm like always waking up in the middle of the night, like at 1 or 2 a.m. I'm like just awake, and it's sometimes very difficult for me to settle back down. And this has just been since COVID, so I don't know why, but it's now routine for me. So I'll uselessly like look at my phone and stuff like that, which is a terrible idea because of course it stretches out, but it's a bad habit.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Sometimes. I think if I have meetings in the morning, I do. Sometimes I try to do something early, but generally I don't really set an alarm.
When you do you end up snoozing?
No, I get up right away, actually. Yeah. For some reason, I'm a very good sleeper. My partner often gets angry at me. She says it's like a superpower that if you like, she doesn't sleep well at all, and it's just like you're tired all the time. It can be really bad. Yeah.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I have to. On work days, I have to. On weekends, I wake up just naturally at like 7:30 or 8 every single time. But on weekdays, if I don't set an alarm, I'll run through it.
And do you end up snoozing the alarm?
Oh yeah. Like I set the alarm with the intention of it being snoozed. That little sort of greedy moment of no, I'm going back to sleep is a really nice human moment, right? That feels great every single time.
Are there like multiple backup alarms and snoozes?
I'll just push the snooze for 5 minutes and then fall back asleep and wake up 5 minutes later and do it again. Like I think my record for that is somewhere in the space of 2 hours. 2 hours of waking up and pushing the button. This was back in grad school. Like, I got things to do now, but
there's 24 of those.
I fall back asleep really quickly in that state, so like it's always worthwhile.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't make me a good neighbor, I don't think. But
do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yes, I do, especially if I'm trying to do the virtuous thing and do something, fit in something. But I have to say, even doing that, I wake just before 8 to do that. And I can do an hour of exercise and still start work before 10. So it's really a lot more humane in that regard than some jobs. And of course, that can change. We can be relatively flexible, and people with families, they get up earlier anyway for other reasons, and then hopefully they can stop earlier. So I do say that is, there's good and bad to all careers, but that flexibility is definitely a little bit greater than friends who have more like typical corporate jobs or teachers and things like that. So I like the getting out of bed in the morning thing is not too bad. And generally I love my job and I love the topic, so that helps as well. Right? I'm just most days I'm interested about what's in store, which is a good sign, I think.
Yeah. And do you end up snoozing your alarm?
Yeah, I'm definitely not entirely innocent with regards to snoozing. And I like sleep. I'm a big advocate for sleep. Especially if what's required is like is quite deep thinking or creative work, I think sleep's very important. So I try and get 8 or ideally 9. That will shock some people, but I like 9 hours of sleep. So I try and achieve that. But of course, I haven't had children. I may well have children in the future, and then my world, I've been told, is going to be turned upside down. So I'll have to adapt. But that's something that does worry me, that prospect. Yeah, losing the 9 hours.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I have a 6-month-old. I don't need an alarm.
I see. You created a biological alarm.
Yeah, I have a biological alarm clock, which unfortunately at the moment goes off after every 2 hours.
I see.
Up early, around between 6 and 7 these days with one of the kids, and when by miracle one of them sleeps in, somehow my body decides that it's time.
Are you, if you wanted to, are you able to snooze these biological alarms? Like, are you able to get the kid back into bed?
No way. I mean, the day started. What are you thinking? It's time to go.
All right. Do you set an alarm in the morning? Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do set an alarm in the morning, but it doesn't matter. I always wake up before the alarm. I have this, someone once told me that this is true of about 10% of the population. I have no idea if that's true or not, but before I go to bed, if I look at the clock and I say to myself, I will wake up by this time, I always wake up by that time. It's always been true of me at least since I was a teenager. So I'll set the alarm, but I always wake up almost exactly 5 minutes before the alarm, whenever it is that I set it.
You may, I don't know, maybe you will believe this, maybe you won't, but I grew up with my mother telling me that as just a thing. She had that ability, she could just do that. She tried to impart that ability by describing it to me. It never quite worked for me, but it was fascinating for me to watch her, where she would be just like, 6 a.m. or 6:15, and she would always be up before that.
Yeah, it's something that's always been true of me. And I'll tell you, I'm a morning person, right? So people will say things like, well, you can do this because you're a morning person, I'm a night person. That's not really what it is. Morning person does not mean you are at your best in the morning. It means you're at your best when you first wake up, right? Which could be 3 o'clock in the morning, or could be 10 a.m. in the morning, which is more like what it was when I was in school. It's just that when I wake up in the morning, it goes from this to this. There's no transition. There's no, other people I know describe waking up as a painful stage process that they do not enjoy. Now, by contrast, when I go to sleep at night, it is a very inelegant transition. I go from being awake and making coherent sentences to just being incoherent, not quite knowing what's going on, and then eventually I fall asleep. I go to sleep pretty quickly, but if I'm trying to stay awake, it just kind of all collapses. It's not a very elegant transition at all. And I just think this whole I can wake up when I want to kind of goes along with that. As I want to wake up, that's sort of where I'm happy. I'm actually curious how it looked on your side of the world, because for me, it's a very specific thing. It's not that I say I will wake up at 6:15. I have to figure out how much time it is. So it is now 11 p.m. I want to wake up at 6 a.m. That's 7 hours. So I will sleep for 7 hours. If I say I'll sleep until 6 a.m., it doesn't work. It has to be the number of hours. And I don't know what that means, and I don't know why it's that way, but it's been like that for me for 30 odd years.
Yeah. For me personally, I know 8 is my comfortable spot. And so regardless of when I sleep, that plus 8 is generally, I'll wake up happy and without an alarm if needed. I don't quite know whether my mother was or is calculating in her head the number of hours or a specific time. I'll ask her the next time I talk to her.
Yeah, that's the only way it works for me.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Oh yeah, many. Actually, if you look at my phone, there's like alarm set up every 10-15 minutes because I'm gonna kill some of them for sure. So I need backup alarms.
How many are these?
I have already preset alarms, so many of them. So depending on when the morning meeting starts, I'm going to probably activate like 7-8 of them in a row.
Oh,
to
wow.
be honest, I never know what's going to happen the next morning. So
I see. The entropy of your mornings appears to be very high.
Yeah, I agree. I admit that's probably true. I mean, I feel like the rest of the day entropy is also high, but the morning probably is not the best time.
I see.